program is a different kind of trash TV. It's garbage, and before it's over, we'll get down and dirty and have you in the dumps. My name is Stephanie Yu. Stay tuned for The Rotten Truth. Come on, kids. Welcome to the Museum of Modern Garbage. Let's say I put these three objects down in the forest. I walk away from them and no one ever touches them. Which one will take the longest to disintegrate? A plastic bag, a banana peel, or winter socks? Which one of these three will take the longest to disintegrate? A newspaper, a leather purse, or a baby's disposable diaper? The wooden chair, the glass container, or the real Statue of Liberty? Time's up. The banana peel will turn to yuck in 2 to 5 weeks. The socks will last 1 to 5 years. The plastic bag will last the longest, 20 to 30 years. A newspaper will disintegrate in less than a year. Leather lasts for about 50 years. The disposable diaper will last the longest, 300 to 500 years. A wooden chair will disintegrate in 20 years. The real Statue of Liberty will crumble and fall apart in 1,500 years. But the ordinary glass container will last about 1 million years. A lot of these things are things we throw away. That stuff is garbage. You can call it trash, rubbish, junk, or waste, but it's garbage to me. And some of it will last longer than all of us. The disposable diaper will be around longer than the baby, and the baby's baby, and the baby's baby's baby. I've got news for you. Garbage is not going to go away just because we throw it away.
Do you like to go on picnics? What kind of toothpaste do you use? Was there a parade in town today? Do you read the evening news? Do you chew a lot of bubble gum? There's one way to find out. We can learn a lot about you by what you throw out. What does your garbage say? What does your garbage say? What can we tell about you by what you throw away? What did you eat for breakfast? Did you burn the toast? What kind of shampoo do you use the most? What does your garbage say? It says a lot about you.
We throw out 220 million tons of trash every year. That's 5 pounds of trash for each of us every day. And all that trash tells us a lot about the way we live.
What does your garbage say? What does your garbage say? What can we tell about you by what you throw away? Do you recycle cans? Are your tires flat? Do you drink milk? Do you have a cat? What does your garbage say? It says a lot about you.
And garbage never lies.
Meet a modern family's garbage. Mom, to know her garbage is to love her garbage, and she throws out a lot of trash. Meet Dad. And Brother Bobby, you know, the one who thinks he doesn't make any garbage. And the baby of the family. You wouldn't think a baby makes much garbage. Well, guess again. A typical family of 4 produces over 100 pounds of garbage in a week. For my family, that's about 2 bags each day, 14 bags each week. In a month, about 60 bags. Where does it go? Landfill. It doesn't get any better than this. In fact, with all the garbage
push another pile.
Welcome to one of the wonders of the modern world, a man-made mountain of garbage. Everything you see here is actually garbage, covered with a thin layer of dirt. The whole mountain is made of garbage. It's as tall as a 20-story building, and it's going to get even taller. This isn't just a dump, it's called a landfill. A landfill is a lot more complicated than a dump. In the old days, people's trash went to a dump. Garbage was just dumped out on the ground, where animals and air and water helped most of it rot. Open dumps were smelly and not very healthy. Now we use landfills instead. Landfills are often very large. A landfill begins with a hole in the ground. A layer of clay or plastic is put down. What happens when the hole is full of garbage? Rainwater can travel down through the garbage, bringing with it toxic materials. Toxics, poisons, come from things like batteries and chemicals used around your house. The bottom layer of landfill keeps most of the toxics from getting into the ground, and pipes underneath drain off more of the toxic liquid. Even so, some of the toxics may get into the ground and then into our water. The garbage is built up in thin layers. Every day, the trash is covered with a thin layer of dirt. That way, it doesn't smell too bad and animals can't get to it. When the landfill gets as tall as you can make it, a plastic top is added, then covered with a final layer of dirt. The trouble with covering it is that most of the things inside, the old baby diapers, the rotten food, the leftover wrappers, the stuff we all threw away, will stay just as they are, sealed inside forever. They're covered with dirt, but doesn't mean to turn into dirt. These are scientists from the University of Arizona's garbage project. They're drilling into this landfill in California to investigate what happens to the stuff inside over time. They drill deep into the landfill and bring up samples of garbage from as much as 90 feet below the surface. They measure the temperature of each sample and check to see how moist it is. Later, they'll analyze it to see what kind of bacteria are in the garbage. Then they carefully bag and mark each sample. All of this tells the scientists about the conditions that are needed for things to rot. One thing that they have discovered is that a lot of the garbage in these conditions has not disintegrated. Cans and bottles are made of materials that don't rot. But even things that would normally rot don't rot in the landfill. How do they know how old the garbage is? By reading the newspapers that are in it. Here are some things that were dug up at New York City's biggest landfill. A kid's sneaker that has been underground for 5 years. A shoe, a cork wedgie, that isn't even in style anymore, but hasn't disintegrated. A plastic bottle. And a newspaper. It's been buried for 5 years and you can still read it. If you put a newspaper outside, it will disintegrate in less than 1 year. As you can see, these things haven't rotted away after 5 years. What would you say if you were told that a new landfill was going to be built in your neighborhood?
I would say no way. I would say, get this garbage out of here.
Do you have a permit to build a landfill in my backyard?
Why don't you put it in yours?
Not in my backyard. No way. Can't you put it like in an open field?
And the trouble is, the landfills are getting full, but nobody wants new ones. It's called not in my backyard syndrome. But what would you do with your garbage if there were no more landfills?
They say that the light side of the moon gets really, really hot. So if you put the garbage there, it'll just disintegrate.
I'd burn it. If you burn the garbage, some people can't breathe.
Put it in acid.
Acid is still polluting the air. Acid's still burning it.
Well, if anyone had an extra rocket ready, you could stick some garbage in a rocket and send it up to the sun. It takes them out of the landfills.
Dump it in Yankee Stadium.
There aren't any perfect solutions, but the worst thing is when people just throw trash any old place. Then it becomes
the world's most unwanted. Litter and other roadside trash. Outlawed trash and fugitive garbage. Trash that is out of the mainstream. Trash that kills. Trash that must be found and brought to justice. We've all seen it. The world's most unwanted.
the trouble with garbage is even when it's where it's supposed to be, it's hard to get rid of. You can't make nothing out of something.
Au contraire, my dear, I don't believe you. I've turned beets into sugar, books into the library.
Who are you?
I am Sven Gali. You can call me Sven. I'm a conjurer extraordinaire, magician debonair. I can make virtually anything disappear. This turning of garbage into nothing, it's got to be a snap. I brought my own personal garbage, aluminum cans, birthday wrappings, and sugar left over from my experiments with beets. Now watch this. Aluminum. This bunch of aluminum cans weighs 1 pound. Now, by applying ultimate pressure on the external surface, we're going to squish them out of existence. Please, squish.
Well, they're still here.
But they're a lot smaller, and they'll weigh a lot less. You'll be amazed. Here, look. And they weigh 1 pound.
We turned 1 pound of aluminum into 1 pound of aluminum.
I'll try something else. By applying the mystery of fire, I will make the old birthday wrappings vanish in this special vessel. Presto, ad reductum, and it's still all here. The paper changed, but it didn't turn into nothing.
It turned into smoke and ash.
What it's made of is still all there. There must be another way. Leftover sugar. A vessel of water weighing 2 3/4 pounds. The water, here, the sugar disappears. The water level stays the same.
I can taste the sugar. It's still in there.
To prove the sugar is gone, I'll weigh the water again. And the water weighs 3 pounds. That's more than it weighed before.
The sugar is in there somewhere, hiding amongst the water molecules. You see, Sven, you cannot make nothing out of something.
Wait, I've got one more experiment to try. Watch this. This side perfectly blank. This side blank. Presto changeo. Yeah. That doesn't look like paper, does it?
Yes, it does. It looks like shredded paper.
Okay, Stephanie. I guess you can't make nothing from something.
If you burn something, you end up with gases in the air and ashes. If you squish something, you've just taken the air out of it. Though it's smaller, it still weighs the same. If you dissolve something, you might not see it, but it's still there, hiding between the molecules. And if you shred something, you can change the way it's formed, but it's still there.
Well, I guess I'm gonna go home and transform some raw meat into steak. A bit of kitchen magic by which I turn something into something.
Thank you very much. You've been a big help.
Ow!
Now that he's disappeared, let me tell you what he really did. He didn't get rid of it, but he did reduce the volume, the amount of space that his garbage takes up. What does that have to do with the garbage problem? Well, anything that can reduce the volume of trash that has to go to the landfill is a help. The landfill won't fill up as fast. Incineration. One of the things that towns and cities are doing to reduce the volume of their trash is incinerating it, burning it at a very high temperature. It doesn't go away, but a lot of it is reduced to ash, which takes up less space in the landfill. From the burning, we can also get electricity, which our cities can sell. It's called trash to ash to cash. Burning is done carefully. We keep most of the poisons from the garbage from getting into the air. But it's not perfect. Some poisons and gases do escape into the air. So what have we got so far? 1, landfills. 2, incinerators. Landfills and incinerators aren't perfect solution to our garbage glut, but they're what we got right now. We cannot make nothing from something. So what we need to do now is recycle. It happens in nature. Recycling. Like our garbage, things in nature do not just disappear. But they do change. They decompose and get reused. It happens in cycles. Like the water cycle. Water goes from being a gas in the air, to raindrops, to a lake or a river, to being inside a plant or an animal, and ends up back in the clouds. It's water being used again and again. And there are other cycles in which something doesn't turn into nothing. Many things, especially those that are not man-made, like this fruit, rot easily. They decompose. The stuff they're made of can get reused. This animal has died, and its body may seem to disappear, but as it rots, it all goes somewhere. It adds nutrients to the earth. What do you think is helping this grass grow? Nutrients, some of which come from the animal's body. Nature uses and reuses. It's a kind of recycling we can use with some of our garbage. This is the cooking part of the show. This is a garbage pizza. Look at the ingredients. This much of our garbage, almost half, is made of paper. This much is glass, metals, food waste, plastic, the fabulous other ingredients that make up garbage. And grass clippings and leaves make up this much of the garbage and take up a lot of space in our landfills. But we can change yard waste to something useful. It doesn't even have to leave home. Here's the recipe. First, we take some dead leaves and some grass clippings and some yummy potato peelings and some delicious coffee grounds and some lovely vegetable leftovers and some tasty eggshells. And now comes the big surprise. If you want to get your compost just the right consistency, throw in a few live earthworms like these. Earthworms are called earthworms because they make earth. They eat some of this garbage and some dirt and mix it up in their stomachs, and out comes enriched earth. They make the whole process go faster. It's important to stir it up from time to time to get oxygen in there and help it decompose. Here's a batch before and a batch after worms, air, bacteria, and time have done their work. Nice and rotten. What you get, the mulch plants love to eat. Just put the stuff around your plants and watch them grow. Bon appetit! So, we can recycle this much of the garbage pizza by composting. It's just like nature's recycling. But how can we recycle more of the garbage pizza?
This is a big recycling center, state of the art. It's a material recycling facility, or MRF, the MRF. Garbage that is recyclable passes through these portals to be sorted and processed.
In some places, people sort their recyclable items. Paper, cans, plastic. Here, machines do the work. All of these different kinds of things have to be sorted out so they can be recycled. But how? First, the steel cans are pulled out by magnets. The other stuff keeps going. A shake table helps some of the paper labels fall off. How to separate the glass bottles? They roll through this curtain of steel rods because they're heavier than the other stuff. Then the glass is sorted by color. Each color gets crushed separately. Next, the aluminum cans get sorted out. They pass over an electric current that makes them jump off the conveyor belt. Everything else falls straight down. The aluminum cans will go off to a crusher. Soda bottles go into a machine that packs them into bales. Plastic jugs are shredded into chips. Meanwhile, the newspapers go into a baler. Now all these materials are ready to be made into new products. The bales of newspaper go to a paper manufacturer. They're mixed up with water, rolled, and made into new recycled paper. These aluminum cans are ready now to go to a manufacturing plant. They're crushed, then melted down. Then they can become new cans or anything aluminum can be made into. The crushed glass is sent to a glass manufacturer. It gets melted down and made into new bottles. And all of these plastic chips will become all kinds of plastic products that we can use. Like stuffing for a jacket, rope, a new plastic bottle, or toys.
Plastic soda bottles can even turn into the fuzz on a tennis ball.
But can't we just make less garbage in the first place? Just make less garbage. It's called reduction. Reduction. For instance, what about packaging? Let's face it, we need some wrappings to protect our products from dirt. But this amount of packaging, it's like wearing 3 coats. This is all I wanted. All this I'm throwing away. Sometimes it gets kind of ridiculous. I wonder how much I pay for this stuff. Don't let the wrapper fool you.
Hey, I'm larger than ever, I'm bigger and better, I'm cute, I'm a beaut, I'm the rapper. You spend your buck, but you get stuck, 'cause you get less and you're left with a mess.
Rap, rap, rap. Don't let the rapper fool you.
Hey, I'm larger than ever, I'm bigger and better, I'm cute, I'm a beaut, I'm the rapper. You can't wear 'em, you can't eat 'em, you can't use 'em, you want to lose 'em. You rip 'em, you tear 'em, you throw 'em away, but the rapper is here to stay.
Rap, rap, rap. Don't let the rapper fool you.
He's a colorful guy, he'll catch your eye, make you buy, but the rapper's a trapper. Throw him off the boat, set him afloat, to lose him is your wish, but he hurts birds and fish.
Rap, rap, rap. Don't let the rapper fool you. Rap, rap, rap. Don't let the rapper fool you.
Garbage is a big problem, and it won't go away. It's here to stay. We haven't solved the problem. That's the rotten truth. You cannot make nothing from something. In nature, things disintegrate, and the stuff they're made of gets recycled. But we put garbage in landfills where stuff decomposes very slowly. The landfills are filling up fast, and it's hard to find places to build new ones. We incinerate trash, but that isn't perfect either. We can recycle a lot of the stuff we throw away. You can help too at home by sorting out things that can be recycled. And there's reduction. See if you can find ways to make less garbage in the first place.
And now, I'm going to disappear. The garbage is staying. Goodbye.
Contact is a production of the Children's Television Workshop.